Hey guys, Taylor with GammaEdge here coming at you the post-market recap for August 19th, 2025. We had quite the sell-off today after an early morning little fake out push. We had a couple key tests over the downside of our transition zone early in the session, then is really just a waterfall from there down to 6,400, which is kind of our bottom side target for the day. Intraday tools were helping us show that this was a sell-off intraday. So with that, we're going to go to the key levels of how we identified the bottom of our transition zone, which played an integral role in establishing the downtrend for the day, and then how we were able to kind of ride that move down through our intraday volume analysis. And so getting into our intraday into our pre-market prep, excuse me. First off, if you go to our YouTube, GammaEdge is search for that. We do a YouTube live every single morning or most mornings where we go through our entire pre-market prep. So I'm not going to do that here. You guys are feel free to go watch that that recap video. Or if you're in the Discord, right, we do a massive write-up every single day, specifically on the SPX structure. We go through the SPX-A, SPX-P full complex. And then we also go through the 0DT complex. Right, but we can go through the pre-market structure for SPX 0DT. So here are a couple of things. First off, our drunken sailor zone, that is the orange box. That was 64.35 to the downside, 64.65 to the upside. And that's really bounded by the smaller iron condor structure that was in the structure this morning. You can see that outlined in the teal. And so, right, within this zone, we expected to see just a lot of back and forth action. Then, right, if we were to get above the top of our drunken tether range, top of that iron condor structure, there was a chance for us to, continue to move higher. And then same thing to the downside, right? Those were really the key upper and lower bounds for the day. And then, right, as we worked our way lower, just looking at the distribution of speculation, work on our way down to 6,400. That was obviously the key downline, the key downside level, just looking at the gradient, how that speculation peaked here at 6,400. And right, everything reason it's predicated around our drunken tailor range is once we get above or below this level, we need to see intraday volume continuing to accelerate us higher if we break above, or continue to push us lower as we break below that level. And that is exactly what we got today. First, looking at our market trend model, we can see using the cumulative tick built off the tick index, we saw sustained selling throughout the session. We also saw a lot of selling coming in via the filter tick. Remember, the filter tick is important because that is a measure of significant buying and selling. So when that starts to register, that really tells you, hey, there is some serious selling or serious buying if it's moving higher. Obviously, today was moving lower. And then we are also noting, in the pre-market, well, really since yesterday, the at least short-term momentum of the bull market was turning lower. We lost our short-term moving average ribbon. We were progressing lower. Same thing at the start of this session, right? We were ending below the moving average ribbon, and that really just continued throughout the session. So that's going to be the same state. Thing to note here is we're starting to interact with the longer-term moving average ribbon. So our 100% P-Transit plus X strategy, that is now turned off until we start to see this resume higher again. So that is just an important note. And then, right, I don't want to leave price action before we go to our intraday volume analysis tool. But again, just have our, the drunken tether range here in the shaded box. We can see, one attempt in the right at the open, failure to go lower, right, progressing higher above 64.50, kind of a key psychological level failure. But you can see this is just classic action in the transition zone in the drunken tether range. There's a ton of choppy price action. And then, right, we finally got that break below bottom of transition. Beautiful retest right there. And then really just a resumption lower down to 6,400. And then, right, looking finally at our intraday volume analysis tool. This is looking at SPX 0DT volume. Why 0DT? Because when it comes to the SPX options market, about 50% of daily options volume is centered in the 0DT complex. So this has a significant impact on the day-to-day price action of SPX. And so what we do is on a 5-minute basis, we aggregate the volume for both calls and puts, figure out the distribution, find the midpoint of the distribution, which is called a centroid, and we plot that. So every 5 minutes, we're plotting those centroids, connecting the dots, and we're developing the trend of speculation throughout the session, both on the call side, green, and put side, red. This helps us with two things. First off, is we can understand the character of speculation, which helps to infer the character of price action. So today, that character of speculation was trending lower all session. Especially on the call side, we can see that rate of change, angle of descent is a lot sharper than the put side, but that put side was still sideways to lower as well. And then what this also helps us do is, throughout any point in time in the session, we have from the open till, say noon, we have all those data points. So we can aggregate that, understand what the trend of speculation is, and we can project out, assuming all things equal, if that trend was to continue, where those centroids are likely to go through the end of the session. And this is helpful because price follows where transactions are happening. So price follows speculation. So this helps us infer where price is going. And as you can imagine, if you have an idea of where price is going or where price is not going, that can be very informative of your strategies, whether you're trading futures on a directional basis, or you're selling premium above low spot price, doing intraday butterflies, all that good stuff. Right, and just so you can see a tangible example, this is exactly what you would have seen at 12:20 Eastern time in the Discord, right? We have all these data points from the open until 12:20, open until 12:20. So, right, this is where we're saying yes. Point one, what is a character price action? What is a character of speculation? It has been lower throughout the session, both on the call side and the put side, right? In a call market where we're moving higher, it's the opposite price action. We see calls moving like this, puts moving like this. So when we have angles of descent like this, right, trying to buy the dip is not really the play here because everything is telling us the trend on an intraday basis is lower. So if you're fighting the trend higher today, unfortunately, probably a hard day from you because, looking at the market trend model sustained selling throughout the session, looking at the volume metrics of SPX 0DT volume options lower as well. And then secondly, we can project out, all else equal, where those centroids are headed throughout the end of the session, right? That was pretty good at 12:20 to where we ended the day. Not bad. So that ends it for us today, right? So we got from pre-market prep how we got those key levels, we got the key transition zones, we got the downside levels. Obviously, we had upside levels as well because we always have if-then statements, but we broke to the downside. So downside levels were only relevant. And then we also took that and we translated that to the intraday volume analysis, our market trend models, gives conviction that that move lower was to be sustained. Last point I want to make is if you're new to GammaEdge, maybe the first time you're seeing a video, or maybe you've seen a couple, if you're still confused on market trade model, gamma, delta, plus gex, kind of all of our nomenclature. We've developed something specifically for you. It's called the GammaEdge Fast Pass. It's exactly what members get when they sign up. It's our entire methodology, all of our tools, how to use our tools, trading strategies, all that good stuff for free. You guys can sign up here. They're text and video based lessons. We really don't hold anything back. So I know the last thing people want to do normally is, go take a course, go read stuff, but unfortunately, that's what you got to do to learn this stuff. So unlock this stuff, uncover this stuff. But hopefully, after watching the video today, or if you've been watching us for a couple weeks, couple months, we've demonstrated the power of and the relevance of options markets today. We're not saying it's the end all be all, but it is undeniably an important part of modern markets today. So having that arrow in your quiver, so to speak, is going to be beneficial for your trading in the long term. So with that, again, feel free to sign up for it if you want to. It's there, free resource. We have blogs, over 20 blogs as well. Those are basically what the GammaEdge Fast Pass is. So don't feel like you got to do both. Yeah, but with that, appreciate the time. Well, I might as well show you just because I was looking at it. Sorry, one more thing. So what this is, you're looking at just our trading view scripts, and this is just these are produced throughout the session. They're things you just copy and paste into TradingView. These are our levels. For the folks that like TradingView, it's just there for your convenience. And you can just see how price action respected the levels on all the key indices today. Looking at the Qs at the open, failure to get above P-trans, failure to get above 0 gex, and really just a meltdown to COTMP. COTMP we know is generally a level where in a bullish foundation we would see kind of a respect and a reflexive move higher. We did not get that, but we did see kind of interaction to the downside. So again, that was another tell for us today that the momentum was lower. And then sure enough, price action kind of bottomed right at the negative trans level there on QQQs. Same thing with IWN, right? Just a failure to move through our levels, level to level move down to COTMP. Good downside target there. And so, yeah, just moving through a couple of individual stocks as well. Apple flirting with P-trans all day, Google COTMP, Amazon COTMP, Tesla COTMP, Meta, Intrans. So, yeah, I mean, I don't go through all this just to promote the levels, but it's undeniable that the market was paying attention to the levels today, so to speak. And these are just market generated levels, right? Like there's no black box going on. We are simply just looking at inferring from the options market structure. So it's very straightforward. More days than not, as you pay attention to this stuff, you will see good trading opportunities coming off of these levels. So with that, if anything, I guess I just encourage you to watch these post-market recap videos, and you'll continue to see this as we continue to hit on these things. So with that, now I am done. I appreciate the time. You guys have a good rest of your night, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.